What's up? How you doing? Beautiful evening. Beautiful evening. Slight breeze, like maybe 2.8 miles per hour from west to east. Perfect temperature. And I'm having a cup of tea. I like the evening tea. Delicious. First time I'm having this brand. I've had Twinings before, but different kinds, like English breakfast, but this is the first time, and maybe it's a new product for them, but Prince of Wales pure black tea. Look at that. They individually seal these up, so they're always fresh. Some teas don't do that. Some teas, they have a box and they're all opened inside. When you open it, the first one is fresh, and then slowly over time they start to lose that freshness. But I drink tea fast, so I don't let a box lay around the house for a couple of years. I could finish a box in like a month. In the morning I'll have a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee throughout the day. There are some people, they will drink all day coffee. I have one in the morning. I will go to Starbucks early in the morning and get coffee there. It's expensive. $7 for I think it's about $7 for a large, a venti. $7. When I was a kid and I would go to Dunkin' Donuts, coffee was like 35 cents. I remember I would look up on the wall and I'd say, yeah, I get a coffee. 35 cents. And in the old days, I would have coffee once every, I don't know, maybe once a year. It was not often at all. And sometimes I wouldn't have it every year. But there was a Dunkin' Donuts downtown near Chinatown, and I would stop there in the winter when it was freezing out, like snow and ice everywhere, and I would go in there in the morning and I'd see all the business people in there with their suits and ties waiting in line with me, little kid, and they would all get their coffees and their, maybe a donut, and then I would go and I'd say, give me a coffee regular, and I would get a honey dip donut or a honeydew, one or the other. And then I'd walk outside in the freezing cold, and I'd be eating my shaking and eating the donut and sipping on the hot coffee. Yeah, this is good tea. Prince of Wales. The notes soft, smooth, and mild. So the tea is grown in China, which is known for good tea. Sri Lanka too. Yeah, beautiful night. It's not dark yet, but it's getting there. My daughter made this for me. Best by date is October 24th, 2025. This will long be gone by then. Yeah, one thing I like is when you get up early in the morning and the sun is just about coming up, and you're out here with a nice cup of tea or coffee, and you're just enjoying the atmosphere. There's a thing in my head sometimes. I'm thinking about, I wish I could go to a nice jazz club, and one of those dim lit ones, like maybe I don't know, a 20-watt bulb lighting up the place, and there's a jazz band in the room, I know that's LAPD. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to be in a room, little table there in the corner, nice and quiet, listening to jazz. Jazz. I love jazz and that environment. You know, nice piano player, jazz guitar, a couple of horns, and just, you know, enjoying maybe even you know, some you know, little cuts of steak while I'm there listening to the jazz band. And I really enjoy Oscar Peterson. I could listen to him all the time. There's a really cool interview that was done probably early 70s, I don't know, way back. What was that guy's name? Can't think of his name right now, but he's still around. And he was kind of popular when I was a kid. But anyway, he interviewed Oscar Peterson, and one of the best interviews I've ever seen. But all the great jazz guys are gone. And jazz is not really like what it used to be, but that is my thing. I would like to travel back in time, 1940s, New Orleans. Nice jazz club, go in there, well dressed, nice suit on, nice tie, you know, ironed. Dick Cavett. Yeah, if you get a chance, go on YouTube and check out the interview that Oscar Peterson does with Dick Cavett. Really good. It's so soothing, you know. I mean, obviously I like rock and roll and all kind of music, but I enjoy jazz just when you want to unwind a little bit and listen to jazz. And it's kind of music without the usual structure. You know, you just sit there and back and forth. Got the guy in the back with the horn. Maybe a saxophone guy jumps in there. Got the nice drums. Jazz drummers are unbelievable. Everything in jazz and classical music, you have to be really good. You can't fake it, you know. Like rock and roll, you can fake it. You learn 3 chords, 4 if you're lucky, and you can get away with playing rock and roll. But in jazz and classical, you can't get away. They'll throw tomatoes at you. And the other thing I'd like to do, I'm a big blues guy. I love the blues, especially Muddy Waters. But I would like to go into an old-fashioned blues club. Something that would have existed in the 1930s. And I want to be in the corner somewhere, maybe with a hat on, just listening to the blues all night. I am drenched in Muddy Waters. Drenched in Muddy Waters. I used to listen to him, and I still listen to him, but not like I used to. When I first started buying Muddy Waters CDs, there was a time when I would listen to Muddy Waters all day Muddy Waters. But you know, it's something about the way they play, about the, you know, the way the feeling in the voice, you know. I remember one year I had taken a Greyhound bus to New York City, and bus driver was a black dude. Looked, I'd say he was probably either late 50s, early 60s, and he had that you know, like he could be a blues guy look. So he's driving the bus, and then we stopped in some town, and another bus driver who was off duty gets on. The crows are coming. And they knew each other, like they were friends from a long time ago. And I was sitting right behind the seat right behind the bus driver, and it was just me, no one next to me. And they were chatting away about stories of the past. and I was listening in like I was watching a movie or listening to those old-time radio shows. I love those kind of stories where you hear, what happened in Louisiana and the Deep South, and about the music, and they were telling all kind of stories, and I was just sitting there enjoying it. That's where I want it to be when I go to a blues place. Now, I've been to modern blues places, House of Blues. Been in there many, many, many times. I've seen many, many bands there. Papa Roach I've seen. The one that really sticks out in terms of the blues was a band from Harlem. I don't know what their name was. They were a bunch of guys that were mid-70s and up. Mid-70s to early 80s. And they were amazing. They were amazing. I regret not knowing their names, but the thing is they're probably not around, because this was like early 90s, and they were at least 75 back then. So, I remember the piano player. He was an older guy. He looked like he was like at least 80, 81, and every few songs they'd bring him a brand new glass of brandy, and he would knock it back and continue playing. And the guitar guy, he looked like 75 years old, and he had a nice sound. But I mean, it was just amazing, amazing, amazing. And I enjoyed it because it was like old school blues. And then another guy that sticks out is Ronnie Earl. Ronnie Earl. I had a friend of mine who liked him too, and we'd find out if he was in town, and we'd go see him. And it was, there was no vocals in Ronnie Earl's music for the most part, but he did all the guitar playing, and it was amazing, amazing. I had such a good time listening to Ronnie Earl play live. And I think he's still around. I don't know, something happened to him. I don't know what happened, but he's still around. But one of my favorites, Ronnie Earl. Crazy guitar playing. I mean, it was just amazing. And one time, my friend ended up getting some tickets to a hotel where Ronnie Earl was playing in a small room. And it was kind of like set up like a living room. Had a few couches, a couple of sofas there, same thing. And I got comfortable. I sat down, and Ronnie Earl and the what's it called? Ronnie Earl and the I want to say the news broadcasters, or maybe just it was Ronnie Earl and the broadcasters. I think that's what it was. I'm thinking Huey Lewis and the News, so combining the two. But I think it was Ronnie Earl and the broadcasters. And he had a really, really great keyboard player. Had like the long hair, brown. When I saw him, he had like a brown suit on, and he was going nuts on that Hammond organ. And then I remember the bass player, tall, stocky guy. I love bass. I always follow the bass line. When I go to a concert, I'm listening for the bass line. I love bass. That's why, I gravitate towards songs with high bass, where they put the bass high. If you go to a studio, you want to tell them, raise the bass up, bass and drums. But yeah, there's many, many nights that I saw Ronnie Earl, and I enjoyed it a lot. I wish he was out here playing. I'd go see him. But yeah, I love old school blues. I'll go to Amoeba Music record store, and I always, I go to every section. Love all kinds of music. All kinds of music. But I always make sure to make a stop in the blues section. I love the names of blues artists, but sometimes I don't know who they are because they're new to me. I'll pick something up and I'll say, I never heard of this guy, and I go by the cover. They say don't judge a book by the cover, but sometimes if you're trying to make a decision when you don't know the artist, sometimes the graphics on the cover, they will grab your eye and pull you in. And I'm not disappointed when I get a new album or something that I haven't heard before from a blues musician. I just get into it. I love it. One time I was in South Carolina getting a cab ride. I was at the airport and I was in a cab, and the cab guy, he had some, I don't know what it was, I think it was local blues guys. He had a local blues musician, because I never heard of him. It sounded local, it was live. And he turns to me and he goes, "You don't mind if I play the blues?" And I said, "Oh, you're talking to the right guy about that. I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. As a matter of fact, crank it up." So he cranked it up, and I'm in the back listening, and it was good guitar. I can't remember the name now. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the blues. I wish they had a lot of these places, you know, like where you could go in dark and sit there and get some finger food and listen to the blues for a few hours and then go home. What's the other guy? Bud Powell. I love Bud Powell. Put that on and have some nice speakers, and I have nice speaker. Nice sound, nice bass, everything. You can hear every little detail in there, high end. And you put Bud Powell in there and start listening. But there's a lot of, you know, the jazz guys. There's a lot of them. Charlie Parker. You know, there's another, you know, beautiful sound coming off of him. Even sometimes I'm in the mood for some folk music, especially the kind of folk music where it's like a narrative, like a storytelling song. I get pulled into that. Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but I was at one point in my life, I would take the train and go to Harvard Square just to listen to street musicians. And I would sit there for hours listening. I mean, there were some good quality musicians back 30 years ago. I've mentioned him before, but one of the best street musicians I've ever seen was a guy named Ned Landon. Ned Landon. I couldn't get enough of his music. He has Stonehenge tune that I could not stop listening to. Very sad, melancholy. And I could picture myself in that song, you know, but beautiful singer. He would gather a crowd around him. I mean, he would go out and start playing, and like, you know, 100 people would be around him listening. And then he disappeared. I go, "Oh, he's gone. I don't know what happened to him," because back then there was no internet to trace people down, you know, on a website. So years and years went by, and I was Christmas shopping, and it was getting late. All the stores were shutting down, and I hadn't bought a thing yet because there was, I don't know, I couldn't make up my mind of what somebody else would like for Christmas. And finally I went in a place and I got a bunch of stuff, and I go, "Okay, I'm done." And I had these bags, and I look over about a half a block away, and I notice 2 or 3 people talking to somebody with a guitar. And I looked with my bionic eye even closer, and I realized that it was Ned Landon. And I went up there and I said, "Hey," you know, we talked for about 15-20 minutes, and I didn't see him again. And then many years went by, and I'm out in Santa Monica by the promenade, and I'm walking around there, and near the side where Barnes & Noble used to be, there's Ned. And we start talking again. I go, "You're out here now?" And he goes, "Yeah." But he was really good. And I asked him, I said, "Did you ever get signed?" He goes, "No." It's a shame. He should have. He should have. Out of all the people I have seen in my life singing live, he's one that definitely should have been signed. Great talent, and, you know, and a good person too. He had a dog named Potato. When I would go and see him, that dog was always with him, good companion. And then eventually it died, and very sad, but that's the way it goes. And I will tell you, there was another musician out here in Santa Monica that I met, and her name Chelsea Williams. Amazing voice, amazing songs. I just, I would go and listen to her, and she had some cool tunes. I think she got signed. And I haven't seen her in at least a decade now. Mama's boy. Go home, give your mama a kiss on the cheek there. Anyway, I haven't seen her in over a decade, at least over a decade, maybe 12 years. But there was a time when I would hang out there by the pier in Santa Monica, and she would set up her equipment and start singing. She was really good. I can't stress that enough, how good she was. Very, very good talent. But who knows what happened after. I gotta look her up. She's on the internet somewhere. I even have a couple of videos that I shot of her back in the, as they say, back in the day. Oh, there's a new cat that has come by, and it's getting friendlier with me, but still a little bit afraid. Pure black cat, looks like a panther. And every time I would open up the door, it would be out here, it would take off like a bullet. But today I opened up the door and it stayed. And now it's over there sitting and just watching me. Anyway, finishing up my tea. And I'm cooking pork chops and baked potatoes and some other items that I bought. Oh, I bought beets. All right, that's it. I'm going to begin dinner. Ciao.